take the Zoom and streaming to YouTube. Okay. Looks like it's working fine. And I'm ready to go. This meeting is being live streamed. Got it. You can see this transcript. And I'm waiting for people to get their cameras on. So did everybody get my announcement? Just a reminder about the exam. James, you got it? When is it?
Sorry, can you hear me? On the 29th, I believe.
Right, 29th, that Wednesday. The second exam will be the same format, it'll be in the same place. James is the first one, okay? That way, when people are saying, oh, I wanted to go away or whatever, just because they say, hey, I'm online anyways, you know that I want to see you again in person, okay? So we have that, and the following December 4th, we have our final presentation. We'll have our presentations. And then I will, after I give you feedback, you'll record it in Zoom. So let me do a couple of housekeeping tasks now. And then I will talk about more about your group projects. Just so you know, I want by the end of this week, really, I want to finalize and write off for everyone. Maybe even today I can do it, that I agree, since I'm in everybody's group, that I agree for the project you're going to do, and also to narrow it down. Some of you have made it so grandiose that I want to help you narrow it down. Next week, on Monday, you remember I talked about Wix, W-I-X. You remember that, James? I talked about Wix, the website. We're having the representative from Wix that's in my academic partnership, and she will go over Wix, especially what I want to emphasize on how do we upgrade, how do we get a free upgrade to that platform. Plus, I want you to even integrate Zoom within Wix, so she'll show us how to do that. Also, since we're a group project, I want a number of us to be able to share our work together. So that will be on Monday. On Wednesday, we will have the CEO of a generative AI assistant called personal.ai. He will be coming, and I've coming to our class on Wednesday. He will give us a workshop on how to use his product, and everyone will have a personal AI, basically a persona, using his product, which is nice. We'll think about ways maybe how we can use maybe his product into our project. And also, he will be giving us a free upgrade to his paid version. So we'll have some dealings. Okay, everybody have their camera on. Mackenzie, Alexa, Michelle. DJ, Megan, Dylan. Okay. Any questions before I begin? Nada? So let's get going. Okay, we have all my recordings here. Let me share my screen. Sharing my screen. And I'm recording, and Kitty, do you want to take over, Jess, if there are any questions on the chat? Do you mind, Kitty?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, just usually there isn't, but just interrupt me if there's something that someone has that we need to know about. Okay, let's do some housekeeping here. So we are on, everyone's starting to look good there on Zoom. And let's do some housekeeping here. Okay, so we have the Zoom. Let's go to what is due. Everybody with me? Abby, you with me? What is due? So if I look at what is due, today was October 25th. We needed to have a draft of the tech proposal found under the exercise and quizzes, and I've looked at that and I have feedback from everyone. This one, let me make it available for Monday. Before Monday, I'd like to have you even do it. Ideally, I'd like for you to have it even done by Friday, this Friday at the latest on the weekend, is I want you to submit your final business tech proposal, put it up. Don't erase what you have already, but just put in this case that you emphasize that this is your final proposal. And I will make sure that I have signed off that we can proceed. Okay. The other thing that I have given you, I've given you a link. I started going over it our last period on generative AI. It's similar to this article here on the 23rd. So if you haven't read this one, I'd start off in a new tab. Let me just start off. I'd start off reading this article on generative AI defined, how it works, the benefits and dangers, and then go to the second article that I went through. This is much more comprehensive of what is generative AI, everything you need to know. And what I would like for your projects is that everyone will be familiar with a number of these popular generative AI interfaces, including ChatGPT, Bard, PI, and Call Annie, and Personal AI. So get familiar with a number of these AIs that you will work with. Okay, that's for that part. The other part that when I go to Zoom meetings, and you can go to Zoom meetings, if you click on Zoom meeting, Lauren, when you click on your Zoom meetings, because you have a different version than I do. Let me just do this for a moment. Can you share your screen, Lauren? So I have yours. When you go to, first go to the Zoom meetings in Blackboard. If you click on Zoom meetings, you see under cloud recordings. And if in this case, you click on the 23rd, just click on the first topic on the 23rd, because you have a little bit different than me. You have 4 recordings there, okay? Now, this is what I'd like to do is, what we've done before is, this isn't using any AI in Zoom. It's just doing our recordings when you want to review it. Okay, so you have the same thing I have. So now what I'd like to do, if you can stop recording, stop sharing, and I'm going to share my screen, and this is what I want everyone to do. You hear this in this case? What I want everyone to do, Abby, including you, is I'd like everybody to go to zoom.miami.edu. And for me, it comes up with, what are my upcoming meetings? Now, on the side, you remember when we were doing this in the very beginning, we did Zoom recordings. Do you remember that, Luca? And you remember, Luca, that we had to change some of the settings. I wanted to make what? I didn't want to make it password. We had to go in the settings. AI is being incorporated into so many products now that this was just what, a couple of months ago, we were looking in the Zoom settings. So now click on settings. Everybody click on settings. And you see up here, Luca, I have general, meeting. I have AI companion. Do you have AI companion too? Luca, say yes, no?
Yes.
Yes, so I have AI companion. So if we look at AI companion, I want everybody to click on AI companion. Notice it's kind of interesting in this case. I think it's interesting that you see here, it has meeting summary with AI companion, allow hosts to generate a summary meeting summary using AI technology, which may include third-party models. Summary will automatically send after the meeting has ended. Zoom does not use any audio, video, chat, screen sharing attachments, or other communications like content, such as poll results, whiteboard, and reaction to train Zoom's or third-party AI models. So what's interesting for me when I look at that, this sentence, where it says that Zoom right there, where it says here, Zoom. So Ella, why do you think they said that? Why are they letting us know that? Zoom does not use any audio, because this, if the meeting summary with AI companion, and notice, can we turn it on, Ella?
No, you can't.
We can't. Whoever, we're not the administrator. I'm not the administrator. You remember we talked about roles, Ella. I'm not the administrator. So what this does, if this was turned on, every time we ended our class, it would then automatically send out to everyone that the meeting has ended a summary of what happened. The university does not want that to happen automatically. They want you to think. But why do you think, Ella, Zoom puts that caveat in there?
I'm not sure.
I know. But what do you think? What is it saying? You remember when we were talking about AI? AI does training. What is it? How does AI learn? By giving it feedback, it learns from a lot of time what's it being trained to get what? Smarter or to get more intelligent, Ella. So what's interesting here, what are companies afraid of? Why are companies afraid of AI? when I asked you to read those articles, one of the things I'm going to talk about, what are the restrictions, or why are people, what are the disadvantages? People are afraid what? That they'll use our personal data when I don't give it permission. We could be having a Zoom call about our financials. Do I want everyone that it being trained on my financials and other companies not doing it? So what's interesting here, Ella is asking, Zoom does not use any of our audio or chat to make enterprises or companies feel more secure. And then they have AI companion questions, allow hosts and participants to ask questions to the AI companion during the meeting. It has also locked that out. But in your project, Abby, I'd love for you to be able to take any of these AI companions and have it be part of your group. When you're designing the systems, what would be fantastic, Abby, is you have it participate and ask it questions. See if it can come up with answers. So we have no choice, but you know, already Zoom has already tried to add AI to it. And look at this. Smart recording with AI companion. By enabling it, your cloud recording can have recording highlights, summary, and smart chapters and next steps. Technology, which may include third-party models. Zoom does not, and then it tells me it's not going to use it. And then it says, create recording highlights, create smart chapters, and create next steps. I want everyone to check that off. Did you hear me, Lauren? So everybody, did you check it? So every time you will be doing a Zoom recording, let's have it give us a smart summary. Pretty neat. So when I looked at originally in Blackboard, when I do the recording from Blackboard to Zoom, when you get the recordings, you just get the plain dumb recording. Dumb meaning that there's no addition. But if I go to my recordings in zoom.miami.edu and go to recordings, I will see a list of recordings. This is not attached to Blackboard, but this is all my recordings I've done in Zoom. And notice I have two. I did one class right before this at 3:30, and this 5:02 processing recording. This is processing because I haven't even finished it. But notice this was when, what I'm highlighting right here. When was this done? Kent, when was this done? You see,
October 23rd.
October 23rd, which was when?
Which was Monday.
Monday. Were you in class?
Yes.
So let's see what this comes up with. We know what the traditional one was, right? Notice it comes up, this recording will be deleted, blah, blah, blah. Watch highlights already. Who wants to run the whole thing? So it's tried to be intelligent, Kent, and tried to make the highlights. And look at this. Program, right? It could do it. So this is me. You didn't remember. That's what I look like. Fortunately, or unfortunately, I have my auto transcript to the side here. But look how I get excited over things. It gives a summary on its own. The team discussed the concepts of personal AI and its potential for business use, such as marketing and advice. They also explored the idea of personal AI. It already made a summary of what we discussed in class. It tried to give it smart chapters, upcoming scheduled exam. So if you wanted, oh, where was the exam? Hey, this is what I'm interested in. When's the damn exam, right? It's tried to make it intelligent. And then it gives me what are the next steps based on the meeting? And look at this, create a website for the project using Wix Academic Partnership Code. And then it said, look at this, we have to, Mackenzie, are you here? You remember I was asking you about AI when I call on students, it just says, Mackenzie will explore how AI can help with her business ideas and read the article on generative AI. And students are to submit a first draft, right, by the beginning of the class. It's pretty good. The only thing I would have to change is right here, right? Instead of Mackenzie, I can go in, or I could even then have someone else go in, right? And I could say the class, the students will explore and save. Pretty neat, huh? And it's powered by Revenue Accelerator. So you see already Zoom has put up a summary. You can then just edit it right away. Or in this case, you can just make a copy of it and putting less, setting up YouTube live seminar. The meeting was primarily focused, and it has different ways in which to do it, where you can just hover over it and it gives you the discussion, what was talked about. And here it even says, the second exam, see, this is incorrect. Perfect. You see this where I need to edit. It says the second exam will be on December 20th. It really was what, the November 29th. So I need to, it didn't get the correct date. So you can then just edit each of these in terms of the summaries of where it's going. You can just edit. Stop sharing. So what's interesting is the connection between Zoom and Blackboard still does not have that update because it's using that API. But in my recordings of all my recordings in my Zoom, in my zoom.miami.edu, I have that smart. It's trying to be smart. And of course, are there going to be mistakes? Of course there will, but it's a beginning when you want to summarize. Pretty neat. So when you're going to be doing your projects, you can be using it along the way with Zoom, since now you have it as your own Zoom, and you can then run it without being connected to Blackboard. You'll have a smart summary, and then you just can go in and correct it. Maybe even you have that option. Then every time you meet with the group, you can just turn on Zoom and you have a summary of what somebody needs. And then you could have then, Abby, someone just read the task to be done and just edit it and see how well it does the corrections. So what do you think, Abby?
I think it sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, but it's amazing how in such a short period of time, it's trying to incorporate Zoom. Is trying to go beyond just being a recording. It needs to make new revenue and say, let's try to figure out how I can incorporate AI and summarize and give ideas and tasks. So you can see it's almost trying to be a co-pilot to addition. So in case you had to do some other things, you want to review it. You don't want to review the entire hour. Here you have highlights, you have certain chapters. Oh, it's the exam. Oh, that's important. You have what tasks need to be done. And then after each one, someone would just go in and make those corrections that it can be done. So you see that, Lauren? So you could even have a couple of people just being their co-pilot, just doing the editing, where I would ask you, oh, Lauren, can you then summarize our meeting? Why do you have to waste your time summarizing the meeting? Let that AI be your pilot, right, of editing it. And then you were in the class and you said, oh, here's a mistake. It's not December. It's not November 20th, November 29th. And it's not Mackenzie that just needs to do this assignment. It's the entire class. That's like the direction that it's going with. Okay, questions. So now let me go over your projects and I'll give you feedback for your projects, and we'll decide, hopefully we'll decide today how we can refine the projects that I can sign off on, and that you can see that there's an exact way that you want to go with your project. So let me share. I'm impressed by this, right? The projects here. So if I go to project groups, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Group 9 just never came, or what? So you want to just change that, be so kind, 10 and 11, let's just make that 9 and 10. You can correct that. And let me start with a group that I looked at before. So I'm going to start with group 4. So it's Jace, K-Ing, Nick, and 2 Nicks, right? My Nicholas and my Nicholas. Nicholas P and Nicholas. So is everybody in there in your group? So I can go to, let me just go to group 4. So who came up with this idea? There's only one proposal, or there's more than one proposal? So who can tell me about this? Jason, you here?
Yeah,
Who did this?
Kyan came up with the proposal.
Okay, kind. So it's basically an intelligent artificial emotional comfort that it's basically based and create a website that combines generating AID, provides these services. There are currently no competitors. So this is basically like a suicide hotline. Is this it? I don't know what intelligent artificial emotional comfort. Did you talk to Jace? Did you discuss this as a group, or just one person threw up something? Jace.
It was really Kyan just throwing out her idea because we didn't really
Okay.
have much as a group.
Okay, you didn't meet. Is that correct?
That's
Jace.
correct, yeah.
Okay, not good, right, Jay? Right, if it's supposed to be a group project, just not to throw out something. Okay, so let me tell you, Jace, what I suggest you do is right after this class, you meet as a group and you get this done, okay? And you decide on it. But what I like about this is, rather than kind of like for suicide, I think this could be a good project if you based it on maybe like a way to get a comfort center or mental health, and then basically maybe not make it for suicide, but make it for everyone that they can use it as a personal assistant or as an assistant to help you even beyond therapy. And maybe what you could do is focus this on universities, maybe on students, on mental health in students, and use and evaluate different chatbots, generative AI chatbots. Are you taking notes, Jace? So what I do is I would take notes on it. So I would create this and change it maybe more generic, and maybe certain issues that students have, and then review certain chatbots that could help one with this. And then you could basically each of you could find different chatbots. You could have even one chatbot talk to another chatbot, talk to, for instance, stress or before tests, and come and get some ways in which you could then see what's free, maybe conversational AI where it's just not texting, something like what we talked about before, call Annie. We could use something in addition to that, maybe Chat GPT, Bard, Google Bard, PI, personal AI, and get some ways to do that. What do you think, Jace?
Yeah, that sounded good. I took notes on it as well.
Okay, so then what I want you to do is today is to meet and to summarize that, and then you can basically, then I can then approve it, but I would look at it more as evaluating some of these chatbots, these intelligent chatbots, and then you could even ask questions, and you could have certain areas where you think that where students need some support, maybe for stress, before exams, exercises, and then maybe even reach out to the audience and say if they know other programs that you can use. And then each of you then can be not only familiar, but really be efficient and know how to use these chatbots, and even think about what are the, you can even have it as a review of what are the pros, what are the cons. Reviewing it, you could do role playing. It wouldn't have to be you know, of how am I going to get stressed? And it could be almost like a third. And even thinking about doing these projects, I would even refer to like call Annie and call Bard, Jace, and have them join you in your conversation. You can record it and have it record and have it come up with ideas for you and the way to write it, of what they can do, and even ask them questions to be able to see what can they help with, where are they really good in, where is it lacking? And then you could reach out to other resources. Okay, so I looked at that. Another one that I looked at was what did I look at? Jules, Dylan, Dimitri, and Maddox. So it's good. Do me a favor and put just the ideas right here so we can see quickly what were the ideas, and then you can go into more of the project rather than doing this. You understand? Do me a favor now before I come in is go into this, and actually rather than me having to open up a Google Docs, is actually go ahead and do the same thing where we can see it. The other one, let me just go into here in group 7, Luca, Nick, Gabriel, and Dylan. Do it like this. So those of you that have just the Google Doc, while I'm speaking on this, go ahead and just even, you can put it in this format at least, in the proposal, developing a specialized e-learning platform for teaching practical life skills. And what was the other one? Online college book selling platform where students find specific course materials. Who came up with this idea of specialized e-learning platform?
That was me,
Who was me?
Luca.
Luca. Okay, Luca, I like this idea better than the online college. The only thing is, and why do you want to do it to high school students rather than to college?
So I feel like that's more of like, I mean, we discussed as a group how that's more of like it's like a larger turning point for most people. Like I feel like most people develop more in high school. So kind of like focusing more of an emphasis during that time period could be more efficient. People who may decide not to go to college or.
So I
maybe-
see that you're going to do it. It's like a lot of ways in which it's going to be a lot management, emotional intelligence. So I would start off with one of those, like maybe emotional intelligence, you know, or personal finance. I would start off in one of those, and then say later on, maybe we'll get into personal finance and so forth. And then I would use those bots to help you with that. So you may even in emotional intelligence, or you maybe want in personal finance, ask those questions. Maybe you decide which one you want to start with, maybe personal finance, or I do either personal finance or emotional intelligence.
Yeah, we were leaning more towards finance.
Yeah, I would do finance, since you would do it personal finance, because it could be personal finance for everyone, and then use the bots to be asking those questions and have them contribute to your questioning, and even have your end users, the ones that come, actually then put questions to the bots. And then have even the bots look up to that. And in learning platforms, you basically can show it on a website. And then what you could do for a learning platform is you could later on look to see Blackboard. Let me put it in my notes here. Blackboard used to have, and I think do a free version. Just like we have Blackboard has a free version that they used to have that anyone can then create their own Blackboard course. So see in Blackboard, if they have it, so then you could even have a link on your website. You could have a link to your Blackboard where you could have a number of different courses. You can do little demos, on personal finance. You can even do role play, even with your personal bot. So I like this idea. You want to do it for high school students? Maybe I would do it, maybe even like for freshmen too. But they even have those courses on personal finance. You may even want to do it for a job, getting internships. Luca, what do you think about that? Or even
Yeah,
helping
definitely.
you with job interviews. I personally like the idea of myself having it not to high school students, but maybe college students beginning years or something,
Okay.
And then it's like it's almost like you can really relate. And then what I like about it, then you could have like a Zoom meetings scheduled, and you could invite, let's say, employers, or you could invite finance people to even give you feedback on what they're looking for. And then what I like about that, then you could take first bids. You could say, hey, we're going to have this recruiter from this bank come in, or a couple of banking, they're going to meet us. And then you could take like first dibs, or you can say, I want it for internships or something like that. So I would say, hey, how can we basically benefit from it rather than a high school student? You're not a high school student anymore. You're a university student. And say, I would put it in that way. What do you need? Is it internship? Is it practice on job interviews or internship interviews, something like that? And emotional intelligence, maybe in terms of stress management. So I like that. What else did I see? Miguel, Kent, and Corral. Are you guys here? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So one was a smart schedule, which is combined with the generative to help optimize the personalized schedule. And what was the second one? Among those two, who came up with the business idea too?
I did.
Okay. Corral?
Mhm.
Good. I like this, Corral, but instead of this, create a virtual therapy platform. Maybe what I would do with a diverse network of licensed therapists. Since there's already things that exist already with licensed therapists, maybe you could be an add-on to those where you think about it, where you called your competitors, rather than being a competitor of BetterHelp, Talkspace. I would say I'd be a companion using those generative AIs and maybe being an evaluation of what you found to be useful, or even a combinations based on certain mental health. And then I would focus it to universities. Since universities, you're ready, hey, why am I so good? Because we're university students, we kind of get a feel for what are the mental health issues. Two, we're not going to be, you don't have to deal with getting licensed therapists that already exist. You can be an add-on where one, maybe somebody doesn't even need or can get a licensed therapist, or in addition. And two, it may be things of a 5-minute quick tips and tricks. 5 minutes, I'm really stressed before an exam. How do I calm down? And give me tips and tricks on that, and watch types of generative AIs. And in this way, each person in your group can get a real feel for generative AI, can talk about issues that they're familiar with. You don't have to be talking about your own issues, right? But things, and you can almost role play together with these generative AI products.
Okay,
What do you think?
sounds good.
So do you understand what I'm saying to everybody? I want it to be narrowed down, preferably on universities, on students like yourself, so you know that product, you know that area. You can invite, maybe what you can even do is have another section where you invite licensed therapists that they may want to speak for a part, to give you tips and tricks, and also ask them what they think about doing in conjunction with these generative AIs. And one may not be a substitute from the others, but they can be complementary, and see where does one fit versus the other. So I want you guys to write that up as detailed as you can and start today. That was group 8, right? Where was it? That I had. And then I looked at group 10, Abby, Sage, Megan, and Victoria. And in this case, one is smart, sustainable supply chain solutions. And the IDs, I go with business too. ID, whose was that?
We worked on it together.
Okay, I think this is good. And it may be the exact same kind of things that I would do. You can look at. And what's available now, right? The telehealth support, and what's your solution? Here, I would emphasize, yeah, the videos and so forth, but what I would emphasize here, again, the exact same thing. You can do the exact same idea as another group, no problem, because you'll each do it differently, right? And sometimes you can even talk to one another and see. But what I would think about is your add-ons, and the same thing is evaluate then those, look at, even so they have something called the conversational AI bots, that you can have a conversation just like you have a conversation with therapists, or you can combine it with text. You can review when one helps the other. And in the beginning, right now, in the revenue models, right, is I would look at it as sponsorships, in the beginning, just give it out free and see what it is. And then maybe what you could do is get the owners of even those chatbots to be sponsors. And they could come in, and you could even have Zoom sessions where the owners of the chatbots could come in, and also you can have then live therapists and come together where you'd have a discussion where the live therapist would then say, what is their advantage to go see a live therapist? When to go see the live therapist? Can you use these chatbots as companions? Or sometimes when you don't have the time, you don't have the resources, you can do small sessions. So what do you think? Yes, no?
Yeah, that sounds good. Sorry, I was taking
Okay.
notes.
All right. Do you understand? So I would do business to focus it, and I also would focus it on universities. So that's where you're unique, where other places there, you're doing it. So where are you unique among your competition? We know what the package is. We know what the status is here. We can start on ourselves. Then we can spread it to this one university. And then you almost could have ambassadors in each university gearing towards this. Because sometimes what you want to do is you want to meet maybe even peers that really, you know what I want is I'm lonely and I don't want even just a chatbot. I just need a friend to talk to. So you almost could do it as a talking with friends in setting that up. And then each person in your group and your groups all together can be familiar with so many different chatbots. You can find out, you can search where are chatbots, and then you could see, in this case, in some of them, you say, oh, this one looked really good, but there's a free version and a paid version. And later on, it could be that you could reach out to them and saying, we're doing this. Can we get, complimentary comps, later on? Like I was doing when we were going to get with personal AI. And maybe once you see on Wednesday, we're going to have the folks from, did I tell you the folks, the CEO from personal AI is coming, right? And I created a academic relationship with them, and they're coming where you create your own persona and see other things is you're going to train it yourself. And then they're going to even have something they're trying to have, like a personal AI expert. They always try to have somebody on Eve, your go-to AI expert. And you can kind of see, almost do evaluations. And when is it good? This one's non-judgmental. This one is really helped me with giving me exercises for stress. And you can even give like certain exercises that you're able to do. Okay. And group project 11. Do I have, oh, I got 10 and 10. We got some problems, you guys knowing how to count, right? So anyway, so Abby and said you want to change yours to group 9, and then I'll go to Lawrence on 10, right? Personalized clothing, shopping assistant, and what's the other one? This is, whose is this proposal to?
We came up with it
Okay,
together.
came on together. So what is this exactly? This is,
It's customized, like based on the exact courses you're taking in the semester, and then it'll check in with reminders and have like a schedule of all your assignments and give extra.
Okay, so maybe
reviews
what
and
you could
stuff.
add to that is kind of like, I would add again those generative AI bots, see what's available, and you can even use some of those that's available as helpers, as tools. You could even give it tools to help me, even get organized, keep a calendar. You can do those. But then things like Khan, they're using AI now. You can even look at what Khan Academy is doing with AI and areas. And then you could even say which chatbots can help in certain areas. Like I'm having problems, give it questions that I have to help me figure out in finance or in accounting. You can kind of like pick your measure and give them and practice and kind of be, what I think would be interesting is you be kind of like a model students like you're a finance major, or I'm a marketing major, or I'm a BT major, and then even try to ask some of those questions with those bots and see which bots help better, or even combine it. Have one bot like Bard, right? Google Bard. If I look at Google Bard I can ask it a question, or I can type a question, and it can give me even, it can speak to you using a voice too. And you can use a text to speech. You can use Call Annie and others. So I think it would be interesting in this case to do this, customize, but make it, instead of for everyone, say that you're going to start off with one single model, let's say like a few courses. And then you say later on, we'll spread to more courses to make it more customizable. Do you understand? So let's start off kind of more narrow, but say that we're going to expand to everything, you know, of that 24/7 access we can have. And then you can have then the chat GPT kind of be, and then you can say, hey, if this is not enough, we can make a thing where we can have tutors too, you know, later on. But part of those chat GPTs, similar to those, can also be our tutors. And then you could even have like a teaching assistant work with a tutor. And then you could even go to Zoom and broadcast that. So you can have like reviews. And you could even look at something like personal AI. You remember when I showed you there's a personal AI, I showed you Ace My Exam. You could even use something like personal AI and put in your own documents for review for questions, and then ask it, and it's going to be multiple choice. Give me, 10 multiple choice covering what's a CPU to what's hardware and operating system, or finance problems. I would then take it as generic. This is what we want generic, and we're going to show you examples based on even one course. What do you think?
Sounds good. I got it.
Okay, I think it sounds great. And then you'll have skills that you take with it. Not only do you have your website, but you know all these other chatbots. And what are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? And then you can record some, even here are some lessons that we used, and you can record even like 2-minute pop-ups. Okay. So I went backwards. So go ahead. And then I did 10, 9, 8 I did, 7 I did, right? 6. Okay, which a database that monitors work from home employees' activities. So this is like spying on me. Whose idea was this? For group 6. Yes, no?
It was my idea.
Okay, so this is basically tells me how much I work from home, and it will like
like measures productivity from work from home.
Okay.
Employees.
And what do you want to do? You want to develop software? What is your what will you be doing? Your group?
Developing a software
Okay, there's something called, it used to be called SpectreSoft. You can write it. Now they call themselves something else, but it used to be called SpectreSoft. I know that it's a Florida company. Look it up. They do that already. And they basically not only do this, they record how many times, also like what sites you go to. So if you're supposed to be working within and you go shopping on Amazon, or I go, looking at a movie on, I'm in Amazon and I say, oh, let me see what's on their videos or something. Watch a video, they'll see me tracking those. So these do exist already. What's the other idea? Do we have 2 ideas? artificial intelligence application for students to search university libraries and databases. So maybe what I would do is universities are good. I like universities rather than monitoring. By the way, you know that you're being monitored. You go onto UM network, you're being monitored. Did you know that, BJ?
Yes.
You're being monitored. So there's a lot of software on monitoring. I like the idea of university and maybe make it applications to search university and libraries and databases for what? This seems like it's too broad. What I want is I want something that you can actually do, that you can take off the shelf software, and preferably something like even evaluations of, we say we don't trust it, is maybe even using a couple of these. And if it's on like subject areas, like pick an area that you need help on, like finance or something like that. BJ, what's your major?
My major is health management policy.
Okay, so maybe in health or something like this, where you could, or maybe do something with health. I don't know, but
No, we were just thinking like more so because like the UM libraries is really hard to find like things that you really need, like especially if a teacher asks for a specific book or like online resource.
But the question is how are you going to find it? I know it's difficult to find, but how are you going to? Do we have the skills now to be able to do that? If they can't find it, the university can't find it, how are we going to find it? And how's it going to be generic enough that it can be, the university may be in a different way how it organizes versus to another university. So I'd like you to do something where you as students can actually come up with a solution. Because I'm not sure I could come up with that solution on how we could find something. The university, how they're organized, they don't know. Or maybe universities, some of those bots can help find some of these things. I don't know how they work, or at least find information about it. But I don't know if that could be done. So I would make it more what you could do. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That this, I wouldn't, if the university doesn't know how to get their databases and libraries, I wouldn't even know how to train these AI bots to train. Maybe what I could do is train it with something like that personal AI. If I had a project, I could feed it a number of documents or a number of URLs or something that I could get answers based on a class and know how to maybe ace my exam or something, or help somebody in tutoring of their topics. And I could feed it then review sheets. I could feed it, URLs like that. We had to, in this class, you have to know about generative AI, have it give you summaries or something like that. But that whole library is just way too big for us to handle. I'd narrow it and think about going back to the students, your student end and what you can give it, rather than solving the library's problem. It's like too big of a task. Unless, you go into the librarian and, they gave you some ideas. Okay. And let's be happy to spend more time afterward. So what group have I missed? Did I do group 1? Kitty, James, and Ella, did I do you?
No.
No.
Okay, what's your bit? Creating AI generated business reports. And what's the other one? AI enhanced personalized learning platform. So what is this per learning pot? Is this like tutors and things? This is similar to what we were talking about, right? So this is
Yeah,
tracking. This is almost like,
this was, I didn't know what to say, but this was pretty much almost exactly what you were just suggesting. It
okay,
was the, like, kind of the idea behind that second one.
yeah. I think more than, this business report. Another thing that you may want to do, if anybody's interested in, Microsoft now has like co-pilots, like for Excel and PowerPoint. You could even have like consultants and basically teach people how to use the co-pilots, let's say for Excel, those of you that are interested, and PowerPoints, how to use them. That could be another one that you can do. So I like two more than, because I was thinking about generating AI business reports, is maybe in the business reports is using something like Excel and see what kind of business reports it can produce without you having to know the formulas, because it's trying to do co-pilots within Excel. So that you can use it. I think they have it now that you can use it on their web version, not their desktop, but on their web version. And you could basically look at that. So what do you think for group 1?
I think we were thinking to go with the second one.
Okay. So going based on what I was telling the other group, you can do the same thing, but concentrate. And I concentrate with one top, one class, one type of class. And then use those generative AI bots for it. Okay, group 2, I didn't do. Jessica, Jonathan, Christopher, and Alexa. Same things, but develop a virtual clothing try-on website. And what's the other one? Develop virtual sports, betting, gambling risk. So I have 2 proposals. So this is basically, I want to try on. Is this tie on app or try?
I was meant to say try.
Okay. Was this yours? Yeah. So maybe you can show what's available and figure out if there are ways in which what is available, and then maybe use some of those bots to help you on that one. What's the other one? Who did this one? The virtual sports betting, gaming.
I did that one.
Gaming. You can't come up, Christopher, with a gaming. Have do you go to those types of spots? Have you ever used them?
No,
What?
no, I haven't.
Okay.
But I
Do you have
know
any
people that have.
Okay, so basically you want to think about what I was talking about. What's your major again, Chris?
Finance.
Finance. I would do something around finance. Even like students, wanting to get internships, finance internships, or being like consultants or something of finance. Because these kind of things are kind of sports betting if you're not into that. You know what I mean? I don't know about, and there are those gambling, you know what I mean? Things. I would do that. I would go back and do something like we were talking about before, but maybe focusing on finance. Either finance internships, or finance helping with interviews, or finance acing the tests, or finance, for finance students, even educating people on in this way you can invite, finance professionals, give you jobs or something like that. So I do this right after, you know what I mean? And come up with those. Right, and then 2, 3, did I do TJ, Kevin, and Elias? Have I done that? Are they here? They're not here? TJ, are you here? And Jace, I've done already. And Jules, what other group have I not done? Okay, I'm stop sharing. So group 3 is the only one. Questions? So what do you think, Luca? What did you get out of this session?
Just to be more specific.
Be specific. 2, that you will have skills, that you're going to learn new skills. Not pie in the sky kind of things. And actually you could actually, you could use it. And even if you went to a job interview, you say, hey, here's my URL, this is what I can do. And you could actually even continue doing it. And I like inviting employers. If can be, that it's useful. Okay, so let's have it done. Monday, we're going to have the Wix person with us, and she's going to show us already how to do the websites. So I'd like to, if you can, have it done by, let's say, Friday night at midnight, and I can look at it on the weekend and sign off. Some of you are further along than others, just to finance, and I'd love for me to be able to give each of you saying, sign off, let's go ahead and do it. And then what's nice is when the Wix person comes, when she's showing you what are the, she's going to show us how to do Zoom, how to incorporate Zoom and how to incorporate AI even into Wix, and she's going to give us a code to be able to upgrade. In the beginning, you can even play around with it in the free version, because we'll play around first in the free version and only upgrade when we're ready. And when we're ready to upgrade, we'll already upgrade to a great URL name and a domain name. Okay. So what do you think, Ken? You okay? You look like you're ready to take a break. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Me too. You almost, if I didn't talk so much, I'd be sleeping. You know what I mean? Taking a little nap. You look like you have a comfortable chair there. Make sure my chair is not too comfortable, or else you'll have to wake me up, Like wake me up before you go. There's a song like that. So let's do attendance. Stay with me if you want me to approve. You have some ideas with your class. Start checking. 4077. 4077. Stay with me if you have questions. Otherwise, I'll see you on by Friday at midnight, and then I'll approve, and then we can move on. And so I'm now going to see if anyone has any issues. Okay.
Professor,
Yes,
I had a quick question.
sure.
If there was like another group that was doing something that I'm more interested in than what my group is doing,
Mm-hmm.
is it possible for if
How many people are in that group?
it was either 3 or 4, I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah. If you reach out to them, 2 things you need to do, Jace, is one is I'd first reach out to them and see, can you join their group? And number 2 is I would make sure you tell your own group.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You just don't want to, it's like, relationships. You just don't want to dump somebody, right?
Yeah.
without telling it. And I want, Jace, that you do something that you're interested in.
Yeah, that's why I like my
You know what I mean? I don't want it.
person.
I really, let me just stop recording, okay? Nobody needs to hear this. Be so kind. Let me just stop sharing.